There he is. What's up, guys? Today we are doing some pond fishing. I come down here like second cast, I caught this bass. Check it out. Today I'm going to give you some tips to catch more bass and specks or anything else that will hit a blade bait in a pond. So we're doing a little bit of pond fishing. I've got me a little blade bait here. You guys see it's like a 1/4 ounce, really tiny blade bait, and I don't have the snap swivel on it. Basically with the snap swivel you can change it from the hole in the front to the hole in the middle or the hole in the back, and the hole in the front is going to make that bait dive shallower. The hole in the middle is going to keep it kind of in the medium of the water column, and in the back it's going to make that bait with its head face down, and it's going to dive down deeper. So I've got it in the middle, and this thing's got small hooks on it. Got 17-pound line on here, 17-pound fluoro, and I'm going to tell you guys why I'm using the line I'm using, the setup I'm using. So let's catch some fish, and I'll give you guys some tips on this bait. As that bass I just caught, that was a good chunker, especially for this pond. And what I was doing there, when I caught him, I just threw it out and I let it hit the bottom, and I pumped it up, and then I let it fall, and then I kind of reeled it a little bit. You can feel that blade vibrating with this fluorocarbon. Then I stopped it to let it fall again, and then whenever I went to reel again, I felt weight, and he was just on there. So you really got to feel them out this time of year. Sometimes they want to yo-yo, they want to stop and go, you know, they want it yo-yoed up off the bottom. And really the reason that they like that is because with the water cooling off like it is right now, a lot of those shad die and they flutter down. And so that's what this little blade bait is imitating. Dying shad or dying bait fish, whatever kind of bait fish is in your area. Especially these cold snaps we've been getting lately. I'm in Georgia right now, and then last night it was probably, it got down in the 30s last night, and then today it got up in the 70s. So it's really got fishing kind of wonky right. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. Come on up here, baby. Come on up here, baby. Oh, it's another bass. Oh, it's a good one too. Come on up here, baby. This thing's got tiny hooks on it, guys. Even though I got 17-pound line, it's got tiny hooks on it, so I've got to really take it easy with these fish. And there he is. Check him out, check him out, check him out. Bass number 2. I've probably made a total of like 8 casts, guys. We had 2 bass. That is a pretty good ratio, especially for this pond. I fish in this pond all the time. I don't catch anything. That's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and let her go. Go ahead and throw her back in the water. She can get a little bit bigger. All right, boys, let's see if we can catch another one. So depending on water temps and how active the bass are, depends on how I work a blade bait. I mean, usually I don't even pull a blade bait out until it starts to get cold and those fish start dying and fluttering down. But if the fish are more active, like if I see them buzzing top of water and chasing bait fish, I'll just reel that thing in, just burn in where I can feel it vibrating. But as you guys see right now, it's getting dark and there is no motion on top of the water at all. So these fish aren't really active. They're active to bite this blade bait, but they are not feeding, making a bunch of commotion like they normally would be at dark. Both of those bass hit it on the fall. So I'm gonna lift my rod up really high and then just kind of let that thing flutter down and keep doing that. Now another advantage of having fluorocarbon on here, I can feel it when I get grass on there. So I'm letting this thing hit the bottom. It's probably like a 1/4 ounce. You know, this pond's got a bunch of pond straw, muck all over the bottom. And if you get grass and you get that stuff on the hook, it's not that blade's not gonna vibrate like it should. So with the fluorocarbon on here like this, I can feel it when it's on there and I can pop it off. Which is another advantage of using a stiffer rod. This is a medium heavy rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy. It's probably got a moderate tip. It's not really stiff. But let's say if I had like 10-pound mono on here, it would be a lot more difficult to jerk it and get that grass and stuff off of there. Pretty simple with a stiffer line. And the reason that I'm using 17-pound fluorocarbon, I mean, it's a little overkill, especially for, you know, this little bitty bait. But I'm fishing in a pond, I'm fishing off the bank. So if I get this thing hung up with a 17-pound fluorocarbon, I'm gonna be able to bend them hooks out and get my bait back. If I was fishing with like 8-pound, I'd probably lose it. So that's one thing I always take into consideration whenever I'm fishing in a river or anywhere off the bank where I can't get in the boat to retrieve my bait. Especially right now, you guys see the water is really dirty and stained, so a heavier test pound line isn't gonna make a big difference with the fish seeing it anyway. Maybe I need to slow it down a little bit. I wonder if those were the only 2 fish in the pond. Could have been. Might not be any more fish in here. So when I make really far casts like that, it's not very deep. It's probably like 5 foot deep out there. So what I'm doing is let me show you guys. I am picking my rod up, way up in the air, and then I'm giving a slack line and letting it flutter back down. That gives that bait more fall time, and that's what I want since they're hitting it right now on the fall. I haven't got the first bite on the pull or just steadily reeling it in. Guys, I don't know if you remember Silver Buddy or not, but I went to the Bassmasters Classic when I was a kid, and the very first blade bait that I ever seen, which I think is the first one they ever invented, was called the Silver Buddy, and it looked just like this. And of course, ever since then it's been knocked off, but I had one that was about this long for saltwater trolling. Oh man, that thing was sweet. And of course, my stupidity, I didn't use a steel leader, and I was trolling with it, and a kingfish come and grabbed it. So never actually got to catch fish with it. I can really launch this thing out here. Look at that, I about threw all my line off my reel. So I'm pulling it up, and then I'm watching my slack line as it falls, and you'll see when the line stops, it hits the bottom. So as soon as I see it hit the bottom, I like to go ahead and pull back up, because there may be a fish on there. And if you don't film it quick enough, he might grab that thing and then spit it back out. A while ago, what I was doing, I was pulling up really high and then letting it flutter back down. But another way you can do is just kind of pull it up to where it vibrates once or twice and let it fall back down. Looks like a shad that's dying, that's trying to get up off the bottom but can't. It also looks like a fish that might be feeding on something on the bottom. If you let this thing fall with a slack line, it's going to have more action while it's sinking, as opposed to if you keep the line tight while it's sinking. That line being tight isn't going to allow that bait to flutter down, and it's going to make it fall more towards you, and it's not going to have as good of fluttering action. And of course, the lighter line you have, the better fluttering action it's going to have. So if I was fishing with like 8-pound mono, this thing would have a lot better fluttering action down, but if I get it hung up, I'm probably going to lose it with 8-pound mono. So this part of the pond right here, where you guys just seen I threw at, it's really shallow. It's probably like 3 foot deep. I can see a fish chasing it too. But what I was going to tell you guys, if you are throwing this thing in shallow water, it's like 2 or 3 foot deep, and you want to do a steady retrieve, just keep your rod tip up. If you know you're fishing in shallow water like that, what I would do, I'll move the split ring to the front, and that's going to make that bait do more like that in the water, and it's going to keep it up in the top of the water column where I can reel it slower. But I'm not primarily fishing shallow water, so that's why I've got it kind of hooked in the middle, because I can kind of bury it. Man, there's a bunch of fish following it. I wish one would grab it already. Ooh, that was a big swirl there, guys. Holy cow. It's too shallow right there for him. Let me just rip it through there. There's some big bass up there. Ooh, oh my God, that was a big one. I might have to pull a different bait out and catch him. He's up there on that bank feeding, and this blade bait, I'm just dragging it by, and it's probably like a foot deep right there. So they've been hitting this blade bait while it's falling. And there's really no room for this thing to just fall right there. As soon as I stop it, it's on the bottom. Pretty much dragging the bottom with it. I mean, oh my God, that's a big bass, guys. That might be a 10-pounder. What is he doing up there? I wonder if he's acting almost like he's on the bed. That's so weird. See right there where I just threw it at, I know there's a brush pile right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of extra time working near that brush pile. Oh, there he is. There he is. He grabbed it. He grabbed it. Now, I don't know if you guys were watching or not, but he hit it on the fall. I had a completely slack line, and he grabbed it on the fall. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He's jumping out of the water. Come on up here now. Come on up here now. Come on up here now. He's a smaller one. But so much fun when they hit it. When they hit this thing, especially on the fall, because you just got a slack line, and then whenever you go to reel up, you feel tension. Boom, there he is. All right. All right, it's getting dark and it's getting cold. That's all I got for you guys today. If you found any of these tips helpful, please leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see more tip style videos, more pond fishing. Just tell me what you guys want to see, and I'll do my best to get those videos out. Now, I'm going to stay down here and fish after dark, and I got a headlamp, so if I do hook a big one, you guys will see it in the video after I say this. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, and drop a comment. Hit the like button. We'll see you next time.